Does that make us homophobic? Like, I don't understand that, I guess. It's okay that we do it within our community, but somebody that's straight can't?
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Zeffelin, and this is Wingz Alwayz. Co-host is...
Yaz.
Yaz is in today for Empress. Empress was out sick, so Yaz jumped in and made it happen for us. So we appreciate you, Yaz.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody today. We have the pleasure of diving into the creative world of Miss Andrea Carr, a visionary short film director. She's behind the Scandalous Tales, if you've ever heard of it. And if you haven't, you're going to have a link to it. It's a wonderful series. Her work dives into the day-to-day struggles within the vibrant tapestry of the LGBT community. With one impactful film already under her belt and another captivating script in the making, join us as we unravel the stories that echo the complexity and the triumphs of the human experience in the world she passionately crafts. Miss Andrea Carr, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
We are so glad to have you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, it's a Carr Thing as a production company, correct?
Yes.
All right. Or it's a Carr Thing production?
Yes, it's a Carr Thing production.
It's a Carr Thing production. All right. And so let's just jump in. Let's jump in. So tell us about Alexandria. Who is Alexandria first?
Born and raised in Oklahoma. So that's something. Let me see. I mean, I'm a lover, a Pisces, so I'm very creative.
All right.
I first fell in love with poetry at a young age, so poetry is always my baby, and then I dove into film in 2017. Okay. That's when I started Scandalous Tales. I don't know, I just love creating. I feel like if I don't create, I get in this depressed type of situation, mindset. Right. So like creating is something that helps me process a lot of different emotions and feelings and things that happen in the world.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. You say you started in 2017. I think I discovered you probably right in 2018. I moved here in 2017.
Yes.
And I don't know how I found Scandalous Tales, but
I think my star India that played Star
sure did. Yes. That is exactly how I found you. Yeah. And so she said she was a character Star, and I was like, who's Star? And then I went in there and I was like, wow. So I was really, really impressed, with what you did with, telling a story and putting it on film. And I know the complexities behind it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people just look at a movie and say, oh, that was cool. Or, I know the complexity. I was in a scene here recently. I was in, which I'm probably not supposed to tell anybody, but I'm going to tell everybody. She's like, y'all sue me. But I'm in Twister 2.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's going to come out soon. Go to the theater, see me. I got a very small part.
Yes.
But in Twister 2, we were shooting one airport scene, just one. All we were doing was the main character was coming in, talking to the girl to get her from not leaving, and that's it. That was the scene. Mm-hmm. It took us from 3 o'clock in the morning is when we started till 10 o'clock the next night is when we ended shooting one scene.
And that's a bigger budget.
And that's a bigger They had a whole
production.
Trailer. They had a whole
trailer. What I'm saying?
They brought 14 trailers. We had the best food. I brought home so much food. And it was all, the money they spent for one scene. And you got to imagine a movie has a million scenes in it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's intriguing. And what you did with Scandalous Tales was really impressive.
Thank you.
And so I had to meet you.
Thank you.
I had to meet you.
Thank you so much.
And so I know what inspires you to become a playwright? How's that journey? And let me add, how's the journey with the LGBT community, influence your work?
So I'm a part of the LGBT community.
Okay.
For the longest time, I identified as lesbian. It has since changed. I think people grow and they kind of, realize who they are. Mm-hmm. But what inspired me to do Scandalous Tales is actually a local. She's part of Urban Pride. She does Urban Pride every year for Oklahoma City and for Oklahoma. And randomly one day she was online and she was like, all these other cities like Atlanta and all these other places, they have, dope series online for the LGBT community. Someone asked me why we don't have one. Oklahoma's up and coming. People think of Oklahoma, they don't think a lot, though we really are up and coming. You know what I'm saying?
We are.
So
if you watch when you see my podcast, I'm telling you, and that's why you're here. Because I'm featuring all of the up and comings and the movers and shakers, because we
really are here.
You are elevating Oklahoma City.
That's awesome that you think that. Yeah. And so she was like, I need writers, I need, camera people. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here to put something together. Mm-hmm. A couple of my friends knew that I did poetry, so I guess they thought, okay, she can probably write a script. Never in my life have I ever wrote a script before then. So I was tagged. I linked up with her. We talked about it. I wrote my first script. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know if these people gonna like it. Do I like it? But it was almost like it just came natural. It was like I was just typing and it just kept going and kept going. And so when they finally looked at the script, they was like, Alexandria, like this is legit. Like you're sitting on gold. Like, and so that just motivated me to like do it more. And so I just continue to write scripts. And so why I wanted to focus on the LGBT community is because I feel like right now we're finally being put on film. Mm-hmm. Even before then we were being put on film, but it was there wasn't no people of color that was in the LGBT. I think we had Noah's Ark. And that was probably it for us. And that was a bunch of gay men. So I wanted to incorporate gay men, lesbian women, trans women. I want to incorporate all of that. So it was very important for me to have a huge diverse within the LGBT community in Oklahoma, because this is a Bible Belt for one.
Yes.
So I wanted to, I don't want to say shake things up, but we're here. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
And I wanted people to see that.
Awesome. So can you share a moment in your career that deeply impacted your, perspective on the arts of storytelling? Like now that you've done it, now that you've put that script in, and now that you see your fruits of your labor, what's a moment that's kind of, deeply impacted you?
I didn't know it was going to be this hard, but it's very rewarding. There's been several times I wanted to give up on a lot of my different films, projects. But then you get people that write you and say, I wouldn't have came out if it wasn't because of this or this particular scene. And that right there is like, I got to continue to do this. So that to me is very huge. Right. And that's when it was like a light bulb went off, like, this is what you're meant to do, Alexandria, so keep pushing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
How do you see the role of a woman in theater evolving, and what impact you to think it has storytelling? Has on storytelling, okay.
Say that again, girl.
I was confused. How do you see the role of women in theater evolving, and what impact you to think about storytelling?
I always had stories in my head as far as like what made me want to storytell, but when I finally linked up with Brandy, that she's the one that does the Pride stuff, is when it really clicked that this is what I wanted to do. There are a lot of women in film, but over the past few years, there's been a lot of Black women in film. And that is so, like, I'm talking Black directors, writers, that right there is like so motivating.
Right.
You look at Issa Rae. She started, I started on YouTube. I'm hoping to one day get where Issa Rae is. You hear me? So like, That's very motivational. And I mean, it's about time that Black women are the directors, the producers, the writers, the all of that.
So what do you think about what's going on with Black women and as far as getting paid?
Yeah.
Because that's a huge issue right now that the light is being shined on. And for us, we grew up loving Oprah. And it was like, man, Oprah is such an inspiration and Oprah is such this. And then we kind of started getting the stories. Same with Tyler Perry. We loved what Tyler Perry was doing. We supported this man. And then to see some of the things that are being said.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Because you're in that industry.
Yeah. It saddens me. I think that the actors, the actresses, the Black actresses, they don't get paid what they should. Monique told us.
Right.
And then after the new Color Purple came out, it sucks. It saddens me. It's always been like that. And it's like, what do you do? Like, do we just say, F it, we're not going to do film anymore? Do we, I don't know. But I know that it's frustrating.
Right.
That a white male will get paid more for probably ain't even acting as good as, so it's messed up. It's messed up. Yeah.
What aspects of the playwright journeys do you find most relatable or inspiring as a female artist yourself?
That's a good question. I don't even know how to answer that.
My director's getting mad at me about my drinking. So y'all know what's going on here.
And I'm going to have you repeat that one more time. I just got sidetracked. No.
What aspects of the playwright's journey do you find most relatable and inspiring as a female artist yourself?
That's a good question. I really don't know how to answer that. What I am going to say is a lot of the things that I write, I take from, I don't want to say personal experience, but things that I have experienced as a woman, like friends, like a lot of Scandalous tales. There was a lot of aspects that I took from friends. I think the couple that I actually did take it from, which is Robin and Chantel, was two friends of mine. They put a dub on it, but they were kind of toxic. And so just experiences out in the world is kind of what I lean towards when I'm writing and what inspires me, I guess you could say, to write stuff like that. Because it's true. I want somebody to look at the TV and say, oh, I can relate to that,
You kind of answered the question I was going to ask you, and that was kind of like, how do you address that social issue and creative entertaining and engaging with real life and, your creative life?
Yeah.
And so I can see you pull it from, some of the situations, some of the things, and some of the people,
And not all of it, of course. Some stuff is just made up.
Right.
But I think that's just the creative, person in me.
Right. In your experience, does your identity intersect with the characters you create?
I want to say kind of.
Okay.
I am a big advocate for mental health. And so Chantel in season 1, she has, I speak on that. And I think part of that came from me. Just going through dark times, you know what I'm saying? And being suicidal and stuff like that, so I will say yes. Okay. Not all the time, but there are bits and pieces of me that are definitely in the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't help but be that
way. Yeah. It's hard not to be,
That is true. That is true. And mental health today, especially in our community, is really a big topic that we need to not be afraid of.
Exactly.
And we need to address more. We need to talk about more. And, everyone should have that person they can talk to.
Absolutely.
And, I was listening to one of your podcasts, actually. Yeah. You do have a podcast.
Yes, I do.
And you guys kind of delve into that a little bit. And for me, your co-host was saying, really you can have that friend that can be a therapist. But I really feel like sometimes you have to go a little bit further because
Absolutely.
a friend will always, kind of tell you what you want to hear sometimes. Because they're gonna give it to you soft. Because they're your friend.
Yeah.
Where a doctor is trained to give you those exercises that can help you move that needle a little bit further.
Yeah.
And I'm not trained to give my best friend that exercise.
Exactly.
So we have to be, we have to not be afraid and talking to a lot of different ones. Find that right therapist for you. Go through the females, go through a male therapist. Find that person that when you sit down and have a conversation with, you feel comfortable with. It's just like anything. You go to a bar and sometimes you can meet a stranger that you can have a conversation with. And, it's like, wow, I don't even know this person, but I feel like I know this person. Or I feel like I can connect with this person. So, we have to address that in our communities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, it has to start in our homes. We have to normalize it. And for one of the things that Black mothers do is they tell their Black daughters, you don't need a man. I think that's really detrimental to our society because you do.
Yeah.
We need to partner up. We need to build families together. Right. And we don't have to have this thought of, I don't need a man. It would be like me telling my son he doesn't need a woman.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ever tell him that.
Right. I think that mostly comes from like the independent parents. You have no choice but to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And secondly, don't tell none of your business to nobody outside of this house.
Exactly.
Those things right there, those two things right there keep us under that cover. And we got to get from up under that cover. And yes, you don't go to school and tell all the business, but don't grow up with the thought of you can't tell, what's going on in yourself with your feelings, So it's mental health is something that we really should address, more of, talk about more of. I don't know, am I taking your time? Where are you at? Me, I'll keep talking.
How does the playwright's work resonate with you personally, considering your experiences in the arts?
I think how does the playwriting work with my experiences? Like I just kind of take experiences from my everyday life.
I guess the experiences you experience every day, then seeing it everywhere else. So, or even with your friends.
Yeah. So I mean, it just kind of. I don't know. I feel like every day I wake up and I go out in the world, I always have a new idea, and it's because of what I'm experiencing in that moment. But I just think that's how a creative mind works a lot of the times. But I would say that, a lot of people, I think when you have it, and it's easy to do it. Some people are like, I can't write. And I'm like, oh, yes, you can. Like, if you really think about it, you can. And they're like, no, I really can't write. I'm not a writer. They do other things, but that's just not what they do. So I think it's like for somebody that enjoys writing, loves to write, it's just easy for me to do. So it's kind of hard to answer that because I literally, like, right now, I'm thinking about something that I could put down on a screenplay so I could print it and get to filming. Like, I literally think nonstop, like, about, I don't know, creating. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
As a female co-host, how do you approach discussions around inclusivity and representation in the entertainment industry?
So you're talking about with my podcast with my best friend, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like I could just discuss anything with him because he is my best friend. So how we started our podcast is he is a male, I'm a female, and we both have totally different opinions on things. And so it's easy to talk to him, I think, because he is my best friend. And we know because of our friend dynamic, we don't have to agree with each other. And so it's just easy, I think, to talk. It doesn't make me feel any type of way. I know that I could bring up something, he could bring up something, and we really can, go down a rabbit hole if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say that.
And we're going to link her podcast because I got stuck on it last night. And I didn't realize you had a podcast until I was diving in and looking at, some of the other things that you were doing. Yeah. And I got stuck on that podcast. And so we'll link it below. It's really interesting and it's really fun. It's really fun to watch. And I'm going to give you a hint, little cup. But but you guys will figure that out
is funny.
as you go. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing as an artist? And, in our community, in Oklahoma City, with the LGB, what are the challenges that you're facing?
There's a lot of challenges. I mean, for starters, it's a no. I mean, Scandalous Tales started off as a no budget, low budget to no budget.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
And so that's hard already because I want these actresses, these actors, and thankfully I did get people to come in and do it as a passion project.
Oh wow! I was going to ask you,
but it wasn't easy.
Yes,
I mean, I've had people quit I remember on season 2, I had somebody that was playing Queen, my original Queen, and it got to the point where she was not. Her schedule, it was just she didn't want to do it anymore, and I could tell instead of just saying that, it was, well, you're not paying us, and I said, you knew that. Right. We've signed contracts. You knew that.
Right.
Well, you can't finish it without me. That's what she said.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I definitely thank you for your time. And I had to replace Queen. And we literally got done filming 4 of her episodes. So I pulled someone in that was wanting to do it. They learned her lines like that, and we was able to get it done. Wow. It's hard, though.
Yes.
Because now you had this chemistry with your counterpart. Now I have to pull someone in.
Right.
And I hate asking people to do stuff for free. You know what I'm saying? I hate that. I don't want to have to do that. And eventually I'm going to be able to pay these people. You get what I'm saying? But when you're first starting out, I'm putting all my money into this project.
That's right.
And so here we are. And so you get people that are like, yes, I can't wait to do it. I'm so excited. And then the reality clicks in that these are long nights. It's not going to just take an hour to film.
That's right.
It takes an hour to set up.
Right.
So it's
and retake.
And so they're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
So it's about finding really your tribe, the people that are just as passionate as you are. And it's really hard to find people like that.
It is. It's hard to find that.
So hard.
It's hard to find. I have to agree with you. And, even running something small as a podcast, and we say small, it's not small. It's an endeavor. There's a lot. In fact, we're going to do an episode with my team, just about the growing pains, of doing something to this magnitude, because it becomes bigger than you.
Yeah.
When you put out a message that someone wants to watch and someone is interested in, your show becomes bigger than you.
Right.
It's no longer yours.
Exactly.
Scandalous Tales is now ours.
Yes, exactly.
And, this podcast no longer will be mine or hers or his. It'll be the world's, and we have to produce for them.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's hard to keep a team together. It's hard to make sure everything works.
Yeah,
Those working parts. And I'm impressed with what you were able to do with 20 people.
Yeah.
And that's not even a production team.
Yeah.
That's just your actors.
Yeah. I will tell you this, I'll probably never have a cast of 20 people.
Right.
This is my last. I would never have a cast of 20 people. It was fun. I loved what we did. We did it with what we had, but 20 people is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. I still, hey, I bow down to you. I bow down.
Yeah, thank you.
So could you tell us some of the themes and messages you aim to convey, through your work? Is it, for you, is it something that you really want to put out into the world?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always trying to write my scripts around people of color, always. And then not everything that I do is LGBT, but there for a while it was.
Right.
Because it was important for me to show the LGBT community in all its shapes, sizes, genders, backgrounds, and all of that. I would say moving forward for me is just, it's really important for me to put out Black stories.
Okay.
It's something that's always will probably be important to me when it comes to mental health, because like you said, the Black communities do a lot better. I want to put out a lot more to do with mental health within the Black community. I like to write things that make people uncomfortable because then it gets them to talk.
Correct.
I've had several scenes in my, Scandalous Tales that made people be like, wait a minute, Alexandria, why did you have to do that? Because now you're thinking and now you're talking, and I feel like that is very important to do.
True. I agree.
I think we watched your live from Facebook or Zoom, and they was talking about the different scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Or why I gotta kiss my friend? Or why I gotta do this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
You go ahead. What you got? What you got?
Can you share an incident where you play or perform, where a play or performance has profoundly moved or influenced you?
Y'all are hitting me with some good questions, and I'm like, what? I don't know. Dang.
I'm sure something's influenced you.
Remember,
I'm sure.
Like,
you grew up around.
I would say, I'm really trying to think here. I mean, a lot of things influenced me. I would say I don't know. Did y'all see Her Story at all? Did you watch Her Story? It was a very short film.
Was Her Story the one? How did it end? How did Her Story end?
So Her Story, how did it end? Where she basically shot her
No, I missed
abuser. That. Okay, so
I saw the one where she stabbed her abuser.
That was Pharmacos.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So Her Story.
That
was powerful. There's in like all of these different films, all of these. There's so many different things that inspired me to write that. I want to say, since you did see Pharmacos, what inspired me to write Pharmacos is I'm biracial, okay? And being a biracial person with a white mother, white father, whatever, and then the other parent being Black, depending on if you're raised with your white parent, it can be very hard because they don't understand you. There's also a lot of people that I have, in real life, come in contact with that have it really bad with their white side, to where they're being treated poorly. And so that's what made me write that, because for real, I'm going to say it and people may be like, I don't know, but I say stuff to get people to talk and think, but check on your biracial friends. That's all I could, it's hard.
Absolutely.
It's hard.
Absolutely. So
that's what inspired me. There's so many different things in my life, my friends' life, that inspires me to write the way that I write or do the projects that I do.
So with Wingz Alwayz, I fell in love with the arts. I did, when I was a freshman in college, I went off to Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp, and it was in Michigan. And it was the first time I was exposed to just all the arts in one place. So they bring kids in, and these kids were middle school kids. And, they performed, they danced, they sung, they, for those 2 weeks, they got together and then put on a show at the end of those 2 weeks for their families. And, for, of course, the people of the community. But it was really, really neat. And you got to see these very talented kids, at such a young age. Yeah. And for me, when I was putting my restaurant together, I said, I want to make sure I have a shell auditorium outside. And I want to make sure I have a place where future kids can learn and see the arts. Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. So with that being said, are you ever going to do plays? Have you ever thought about playwriting?
Yes, I have. So I actually did write I don't want to say it was a play because it was very short, but it was like a comedy skit that we did perform at a Pride event. It was so much fun. Okay. So yes, I will absolutely be open to doing that.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
What emotions or themes in the playwright's work do you think resonate strongly with the diverse audience?
I want to say different coming out stories or being in the closet. So with Scandalous Tales, there's a person that's on the down low. That's huge in the community. Especially me having a Black gay best friend. I hear stories. So I feel like that is so huge in the community. And I think it's an eye-opener too. And it brings a lot of different emotions out, I think. I think art in general, my art, Zeffelin's art, everybody, it just brings out different emotions for different people. I don't know what I tried to, I just put stuff out there. Whatever people feel is what they feel. I don't know.
And that's kind of how art works.
Yeah.
You know, we may intend to write something a certain way, but once it's written, it's I remember getting into an argument with my creative writing professor. And I was young and thought I knew everything. And I was like,
We all been there.
It's creative writing.
Right.
I can write whatever I want. But as I got older and as I got further into the class, I understood that once you put something on paper and you put it out there, it's going to be interpreted so many different ways.
Exactly.
This program today will be interpreted so many different ways and will evoke so many different emotions and so many different feelings.
Yeah.
So art, you have to have this, understanding that when I release it, it has a life of its own.
Yeah.
And
that's real. That's so real.
And I have to have thick skin because I can't read those comments and just be like, go ball up in a ball, and art is a beautiful thing.
It is.
And for those who, understand it and enjoy it and embrace it, it takes on its own life in their life. And so it's beautiful. And so what you do, affect so many people. And we have to understand that. And we have to know that comes with a responsibility also.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you feel like you live up to that responsibility?
That's a really good question. I feel like I do. I'm gonna say I feel like I do.
Okay. All right.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
That's what we're gonna get for now.
So, when I was looking at, did you have something? I know my.
You just kind of humble, So
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I remember watching. I know with Scandalous Tales, and you've done a lot of different short films, and you've done a lot of different short series. You've done a lot of interviews. I've seen you, talk to a lot of people. So, for you, what happened to season 3 with Scandalous Tales?
Yeah. So, season 3. So what happened is the ending of season 2, the very last episode. I just couldn't stop writing. So I was like, maybe I'll turn this into a season 3. Okay. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do a season 3. Let's just close out the Scandalous Tales altogether chapter and let's do a movie.
Right.
So wrote the script, was going to do the movie. Life happens. I think after that, COVID hit. Right. Which messed up a lot of things.
For a lot of people.
A lot of people. Okay. So I was like, well, we're just going to keep putting it off. And then I kind of was like, is my heart still in Scandalous Tales?
Right.
I had to really do some soul searching with it because I didn't feel what I felt when I first wrote it in 2017. I think it was all the obstacles that it took to even film season 2. season 1 and season 2. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm washing my hands with this.
Right.
I let it go. And then I want to say earlier last year, 2023, I was like, you know what? People to this day is asking, so you really not gonna release nothing else for Scandalous Tales? You really just gonna leave us hanging like that? Continuously ask my actors, everything. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and I'll revise the script. Because I have grown as a writer since then.
Right.
I revised the script. I was like, this is gonna be great. I was so excited. I had to recast for a lot of the people.
Right.
And it got to the point where it kept trickling down. Like I literally maybe 3 weeks ago made the decision that I'm scrapping Scandalous Tales.
Right.
Because we were rehearsing. But it goes to the point where it's hard to find people that are just as passionate as you, because it was the same 5 people that were showing up to rehearsal.
Right.
That's not fair, you know? So
how tough was that? Like knowing that you have something that you truly care about.
Yeah.
And you put all that time and effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go for that 3rd season that everyone's asking you for.
Yeah.
And you put it in front of the people, they come in, and then you have to say, he can't do this. How hard is that?
It was so hard. I was actually very nervous about telling everyone.
Right.
I was so nervous because I didn't want them to feel like, well, my time was wasted. I've been one of the 5, the 6 that been coming to rehearsal. You know, like I was just so nervous, and it had nothing to do with, you know what, this is just, it needs to end. The universe is saying, just wrap it up. You got other stuff you need to do. It was more of, I didn't want to hurt. I'm such a people pleaser, I feel like. And being like that in the film industry is probably not good. So I was so nervous, and it was really hard. But the people that were there were so understanding, and they was like, I trust that anything that you do and you touch is going to be amazing. Please keep me in mind.
Right.
And so that made me feel a lot better. There are some scenes in the movie that we are going to pull to do short skits to put on the internet, because there's some important parts that I wrote that I want the world to see.
Right.
So it may not be Scandalous Tales, but there are bits and pieces that will be released.
So is it a financial thing? More so.
I always think, I personally, to get people to come in and do what they need to do, absolutely.
Okay.
I absolutely feel that. I feel like if I had a higher budget to where I was able to pay these actors what I really want to pay them, they wouldn't. I feel like they would do it more so than I'm just doing this as a passion project. I absolutely, yes, 100% feel like it has everything to do with budget. And I'm the type of person that, because what we were going to do is try to get it on Tubi, try to get it on Amazon Prime. So when I have the money coming in, after I pay my production, because I don't care to see the money. When it comes to the film industry, there is that 10% that do it just for the money. Mm-hmm. And then there's that, 90% that really just have to create. And I am really part of that 90%.
I discovered this, and for us, when we open our businesses, when we do our productions, the more of it that we own, the more control that we're going to have over it. And the longer it takes to get your money, that's okay. Yeah. Because in the end, you're going to not owe anybody anything. Exactly. And you're able to put out a great product. Yeah. And for me, I wanted to not have to go to a bank. So that's why we do Kickstarter. Yeah. We do Kickstarter with Wingz Alwayz, and I push all of you all to go and subscribe to my Kickstarter. The link is below. And as soon as we open up this Kickstarter, just, $5, $10, $20, what you would spend in a day. Any of that. But back to you. But projects like that, especially your project, try those avenues, try that free money, as much free money as we can generate as a community and as we can pull together for. Because I would have, if you had your little Cash App there, I would have paid anything, just to get that going. Yeah. And it's a great project, and you do great things. And I'm looking forward to all the future things that you have in store, because I see you're going to be up there. You're going to be one of those, and I got her first. I got her first.
Have you ever thought about taking what you already did and then kind of like going into the LGBTQ community and saying, hey, we're really trying to do a season 3, and you guys watch season 1 and 2 and decide if you want to contribute towards a budget for a season 3. Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
I have not, and that's a really good idea. And I don't want to say that Scandalous Tales is just because I don't know. I may do a spinoff. I don't know. In this moment, it's not. But that's a really good idea. Because there is a lot of free money out here. There's people that want to put money in your pocket and stuff.
It is.
And there's people who need that story out.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
And I tell you, when we learn that we can pool our money together, we're so quick to go buy jewelry. We're so quick to go buy things that flash and, the most expensive car and, go buy bottles. You know how much money is wasted at a strip club. And I'm sorry, any strippers I have out there, I want y'all to still be fans.
Spraying bottles everywhere.
But as much money is wasted in bottles, sir.
Yeah.
That's $5 or $10 that can go to something that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
And we just have to retrain our brains and really figure out what's important.
Yeah.
And it's not always about how we look. It's about what we enjoy, what we want to see, and what we can do to help somebody else.
Yeah.
Because it makes a difference.
Yeah,
it gets projects like this out.
Yeah.
And we love those projects.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's very addicting.
Yeah. So, as a playwright in Oklahoma City, how do you navigate and contribute to the local scene? What do you feel like you bring to Oklahoma City?
There's a lot of talented people here.
Yes.
Most of my music, I tried to get local Oklahoma City artists. A lot of them are Oklahoma City artists. We got some hustlers, bustlers here. Talented people. And so I feel that giving them time, like giving them a platform to come on and be seen, whether it's acting, working behind scenes, on set, I think that's bringing something.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so I absolutely love that. Like, they're like, man, we done seen Oklahoma. Local vendors, or not vendors, but like places where we filmed. Not a lot of people, but there were people that welcomed us.
Yes.
With open arms. Yes. That's easy. Like, you just got promoted.
That's
what I'm saying? So I think that is just, I don't know.
We talk on this podcast a lot, and really the the genesis of this podcast is shining the light on Oklahoma's talent and Oklahoma's artistry and the fact that we're that next big city.
Yeah.
We're that next, what? We are that next big city. I tell them we're going to give Atlanta his run its course. They've done all they can do. Yeah. We are that next big city. Yeah. We are young. We're hungry. And
we're going to steal their people too.
I don't know about that. We got them all here. We don't have to stick them. And,
but they're going to want to come here to work with us.
Really, Oklahoma City is the best kept secret. And I say that all the way. We got the best traffic. We got the best airports. We have the best foods. We have people who actually support the city.
Yeah.
And, it's one community. It's not just Northeast, Southwest. It's one community. And there's not a lot of cities that can say that.
Exactly.
And the talent is just so untapped.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud to be here. I've embraced this is home to me now.
Yeah.
And when I meet people like you, it just burns a fire in me. It just inspires me, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Make a blade.
Oh man, I know my cheeks red.
A little bit of blush.
What advice would you give to an aspiring female looking forward to making an impact in the entertainment industry?
I would say just do it. Just jump. I always say that because that's what I did. I literally didn't know what I was doing, but I did it, and I jumped on faith, and it has been one hell of a ride, and it's a continuous ride, and I love it here. Just do it. Make sure you have good people in your corner that support you, because there are going to be times that you need to lean on somebody. There's going to be tears. There's going to be, you're going to be upset sometimes, but it's it's all worth it, and just do it. See if you could work under somebody. What I really would have enjoyed if I would have maybe went into this and like had a mentor.
Right.
That would have been amazing. So like, if y'all want to find me, look, hit me up for real, because I really feel like that's a big part of it too. But just do it. That's always what I'm gonna say. Just do it. You can be like, wishing you would do it, and then a year passes, 2 year passes, and you're like, man, I should have did this. Just do it, because the worst thing is that it doesn't work out how it's supposed to. You thought it was gonna work out, but it's gonna work out how it's supposed to work out.
Right.
Trust the universe, trust God, whatever you believe in, and just do it.
Awesome.
What are 5 things you overcame between podcasts, Scandalous Tales, poetry, and etc.?
You said 5 things that I what?
Overcame.
Man. I mean, overcame moments that I just wanted to give up because I felt like it was, man, this is hard. Of course. I mean, it's not going to come easy. So I think that's a lot. I've overcome depression. It's like I said, when I create, I am happy. When we was finishing up season 1 of Scandalous, my grandmother was in the hospital dying, and that was something that really, really helped me get, like it helped me through that time.
Right.
Like it was a really dark time, but it helped me. And I feel like I have overcome a lot of different things just by doing the things that I love to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's a moment in your career that you think has significantly impacted your growth? What do you think took you to that next level?
Starting season 2 of Scandalous Tales. Cause when we was doing season 1, we literally had 1 camera. We used our phones for audio and maybe 1 light. So that's all we had for season 1. And when I got a chance to do season 2, the production was a lot better. It was crazy. It was like day and night. And there was still stuff we needed to work on, but I mean, we're still growing,
And I really want you all to go take a look. We're going to link it. But I want you guys to go take a look at season 1. And when she says 1 camera, phone is audio, I don't want you to look at this movie and say, oh, this is low budget. I want you to look at this movie and say, look what they accomplished with 1 camera, 1 light.
Yeah.
And phone is audio.
Yeah.
Because they accomplished a lot in this movie. And you're absolutely right. You grew in the season 2.
Yeah.
It grew.
Yeah.
And so for me, I want to see more growth as far as just more people coming together.
Yes.
And it's time for us to, we interviewed Amber DiCasio. I think that was DiCasio. And Amber, she was just like, we need to come together. It's time for Oklahoma City to have a hit. It's time for Oklahoma City to have a hit movie, a hit rapper.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do that unless we all just come together. She said, and when we come together, it's so important, because you can put 10 artists in a room and put 10 different ideas together and come up with a hit.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
For us, our podcast, Making 100 CEOs, is 100 people that are going to have these minds that are going in a direction. How can we miss when you have 100 minds working together? How can you miss? So for our city, we want a hit, and we're going to get a hit, whether it's a hit movie, whether it's a hit star, whether it's a hit actor, whatever. But it's not going to happen until we all just become that one city that we are. And I think we're on that path. I do. I believe we're on that path.
I'm excited to see it. It's going to be all of the above.
Yes.
Have more than
all of the above.
Boys on a red carpet.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You got anything else?
What what advice do you have for females that's trying to find themselves not only in the arts but in life?
Ooh, that's a really good man. Trying to find themselves in life. Don't overthink it. Talk to people that you trust. That's where that therapy comes in. I think therapy is amazing. I don't know where I would be without it. And honestly, just living your life unapologetically. I think a lot of women, I'm too. What is he gonna think? What is she gonna think? What are they gonna think? It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I think walking in your authentic truth unapologetically is like the most beautiful thing that you could do as a woman, as a man, anybody. And that's crazy because that's what my documentary is about, is being unapologetically us, like just living in our truth. And fuck these people. Can we cuss?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck these people.
Absolutely.
Like seriously, just be you and embrace it. If you wanna think you wanna go into a era where you're, I don't know, like outside. You outside this summer. Be outside. Who cares about what all these other people have to say? Like, because only you can make you happy. First, you gotta love yourself before anybody can love you. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Absolutely.
I remember telling my mom somewhat about it, and then like I told her, I somewhat like to please people, make them happy, but at the same time, I do not care. She's like, yeah, you got the honest. You really need some therapy, though.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, because when I was in here setting up, I noticed on the TV, Zeppelin put on, I don't know what season it was.
I think this is season 2.
Yes.
But you'll know for sure.
Okay.
But I want to know, like, because I was watching this episode, I was kind of like scanning it, back and forth. I can hear it a little bit, but I noticed, like, there's this one scene, all right, I think there are 2 girls. One of them was in the bathroom. The other girl, she was outside of the bathroom. And she asked her, she said, is it weird being in the presence of your attacker, something like that, or being a victim in the presence of your attacker? And the girl opened the door and she was like, what do you mean by that? And so I kind of like put 2 and 2 together, like,
dang, so now my gears is what are you talking about?
You guys, I think it's like you guys often are pursued by people who have terrible intentions for y'all. Like they groom you guys, they come over and they love on you and they get you alone and then they do bad things to you. I think that's what I was getting from that.
Okay. Was she masculine presenting in this scene?
Yeah, she had a cap on backwards, I believe.
Okay.
A hat on backwards.
And it was okay. How does it feel to be in the presence of your attacker?
How does it feel to be a victim in the presence of your attacker? Something like that. I think that's what
now
said.
I'm thinking.
And it made me really think, because that to me sounds like, a predator. Who got you alone just for that one moment.
Yeah. It's actually, so I think that was part of season 2. But there is a scene. Well, yeah, absolutely. Especially masculine presenting women in the LGBT community. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I talked on that and it was very uncomfortable for a lot of people. But men sexually harass, sexually assault, rape. Yes, because you're a woman that's dressing like a man. And you saying that you're supposed to like men. That's what they think. These men, these certain men. I know that all men ain't like that. But there are a few. Even women may not like the fact that another woman is gay and she's masculine presenting. So they'll say very dirty and harmful things. But yeah, the LGBT community, if you think of trans women, they're murdered often. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep and it can get dark. And so, yeah.
Do you think you think America talk about violence and all of the things that that really happens to you guys that mentally destroy people in the community, LGBTQ community? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Please don't come for me.
Everybody messed up the letter.
It's okay.
But like, do you think America talk about the attacks enough for you guys?
That's a good question. Sometimes, but I don't. Do I think it's enough? No, because no. But I also don't think that they talk about Black lives like they should either. Black lives. So I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the media puts out what the media wants to put out.
True.
And they have an agenda when putting out certain things.
Okay.
To me, that's my opinion.
But one of the things that I've seen over the past few years, because there's a stigmatization, you know, that's that elephant in the room. You know, you have so many people saying, "Oh, that's against religion," or "Oh, that's a choice they're making," or you know, they have these generalizations that they put on a whole community of people that they have zero idea what they understand, and they probably like them, and you know, but they can't say they do.
Yeah.
You know, so they want to attack. And it's kind of like the kid in the playground. You know, he hits the girl because he likes her. He doesn't beat up the girl because he want to beat her up. He beats her up because he likes her. And some people are so afraid of being typecast or they're so afraid of their own feelings. And
That's
when they
exactly
become afraid of their own feelings, they lash out and they make just horrible statements and they do horrible things.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to, as a person, understand that your life, how you live it, is your life, how you live it. Respect the next person, how they live their life. Because once we have respect for people, then none of this stuff matters. None of this stuff matters. You don't have to walk around and say, "I have a gay friend."
Right.
You know, come on.
Yeah.
You don't have to walk around and say, "I have a Black friend."
Exactly.
Just say, "I have friends."
Yeah.
You know, I have people I love, and I have people who I support, and I have people who love me and support me. And when we can get to that place, then none of this you, me, we, he, they, us matters.
Exactly.
You know, and we will get there. We will get there. We are getting there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like Star Trek so much, because, you know, it's beyond all of that.
Right. It really is. Yeah.
So, you know, we next to monsters in Star Trek, you know, and we love them.
Yeah.
So for you, I'm going to give you that camera and you tell the world, because that's the world we're talking to right now. You tell them anything that you wanted them to know, and it's all yours.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode and continuously watch all the episodes. It is all about supporting local art, and I encourage everyone to see how they can support their city, their friend, their partner, whatever it may be. Also, if you are wanting to get into film or anything like that, I promise you could look me up. You can ask me questions. I am down to collaborate with anybody in the city, even outside of the city. Hit me up, and I don't know, just do you. Walk in love because of love, not for love. I always say that too.
I'm ready for that shirt to come out.
I want to do a cameo one time. I want to be in there.
Get a shirt.
I want to be in a movie.
Absolutely. I got you.
Now, do you do, like, is it just LGBTQ community work? Or
No.
She says she's moving. She's going into the mainstream.
It started that, but anything. We're about to film a Valentine's Day short. With a heterosexual couple. I'm really excited about that. We actually filmed Saturday, so
that's awesome.
I'm ready for that. So yeah.
But do you have boundaries in writing? What you will and will not write about? You know, what you will allow to happen on your set and what you will not allow to happen on your set. Like, Is that too far? Is there,
That's a good question. As of right now, I have not come across any boundaries that I have. I'm open to a lot of different things. No.
Have you done rape scenes?
Yeah, in season 1. At the end of season 1, there was a rape scene.
Was it? I think I missed it. You know, a lot of directors or a lot of writers shy away from the rape scenes.
They are. Yeah, they do. And people tell me, are you sure you want to put that in there?
Right.
I don't know. Like, try to talk me out of it. Maybe you shouldn't. I don't know if you want to. People don't want to.
But it's life. It happens.
It's life. It happens.
Art imitates life.
Yeah.
And life imitates art.
I think it's also because they don't want it to come back on them, then they end up.
Yeah. It was very hard to get someone to do that, I will say, to cast for that scene.
Right.
So hard.
Oh, yeah.
So hard. Just like Pharmacos, if y'all watch Pharmacos like you have, it was hard to get, the white person to play that part. Because then she's going to seem racist. But she's not. I know her personally. She's not. She did her 1 and 2 on the film. But, so it's just, it is hard to get people to play those very uncomfortable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's art, though. You got to be able to see the art for what it is.
Exactly.
And then, it has no limitations.
Exactly.
Especially you as the creator, you definitely don't want to go in thinking about being limited.
Yeah.
So you do give yourself that opportunity to expand into so much of their imagination outside of a reality.
Yeah.
So it's really incredible. Huh?
Yeah.
I opened up my monologue and I spoke a little bit about David Chappelle. How do you feel about David Chappelle?
Me being in the LGBT community, he is a comedian.
Okay.
He's a comedian.
So
I see it from both points.
Okay.
Do I fault Dave Chappelle? Am I like, oh, you're a bad man because no. I don't think that. I think a lot of people are ignorant to a lot of things, but that's when you educate people. You don't down them because they don't know, or he's a comedian. That's what I'm gonna say. Mm-hmm. And the LGBT community might come for me because I'm part of y'all, and y'all be like, oh no, she said that. No, I just think he's a comedian, and I don't think that's his job.
Yeah,
that's me.
The comics hit everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody.
Yeah. I think that for Dave Chappelle, I think that he's trying to turn it around. I feel that he feels he was misunderstood in what he was saying. Mm-hmm. And so he's turning it around to say that the LGBT community is misunderstanding what he's saying. Mm-hmm. And so because of that misunderstanding, we're in odds with each other. Yeah. Which we really shouldn't be in odds with each other because I love you. Yeah. And you should love me. Yeah. And I really feel like that's what happened. Yeah. I think it was a breakdown of understanding. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And guys, please don't come for me.
Please don't.
I'm just saying is what I think it is.
Within the community?
No, absolutely.
When you see somebody going off the deep end, like, yo, you really got unnecessary. Do y'all check each other like that?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, being on the outside, I'm just like, guys, some people say that they're very comfortable and very confident in who they are. Yeah. But the moment they get a challenger, they're just like, oh yeah, yeah. Like, but do you guys check people that do that?
Absolutely. I think that I don't know what we was talking about. But I had somebody on my friends list, they had came and commented under somebody else's comment that was disagreeing with what I said. And I said, she was calling her all types of names. And I'm like, wait a minute, why? Not too much. Let's scale it back. She's stating her opinion, just like you can state your opinion. And it's okay to disagree, but when it gets to being very ugly, and that's where I draw the line. I'm like, it doesn't have to get this far. It doesn't have to be like this, because I disagree with my friends all the time. Yeah. And that's okay. And I just, he's a comedian, and I look at it like, even in my friend group, we tell gay jokes to each other all the time. Does that make us homophobic? I don't understand that, I guess. It's okay that we do it within our community, but somebody that's straight can't.
We check us too, because there are some of us who do not allow, straight people, whatever they go by, just bash y'all for no reason. It's like, that's pointless for you to feel like that person doesn't belong here because they choose that side of life. Like, that's their choice. It's like you're choosing to be straight. You may, even if you waver in life, you find yourself going back to that straight line. Yeah. But that's who you are. Yeah. And it's not okay to tell you, hey, you need to go to hell or you need to be killed. Yeah. Like, I don't like that type of stuff.
Yeah. And kind of back with what you were saying, it's even like us using the word, I'll be like, what's up? And but the white community can't say it, but there's a lot of people inside of the community that say don't even use that word. Why even give that word, gas? Yeah. So I think that as a society, we're gonna eventually grow past this.
I really.
That's where I hear that word so much at work.
This is a growing pain.
About this kid gave the pass to this kid. Quit using that word.
One of my friends, not my friend, one of my cousins is a Jehovah's Witness. And he's devout Jehovah's Witness. And we were sitting right on this couch having a conversation. And I said to him, so what happens if a Martian lands tomorrow? Oh, and he, or an alien, because the religion isn't set up for that. Yeah. It's not set up for if there's aliens out there, because the way religion is set up is that there's one creator and he only created us. And so what happens when this alien comes? Right. And then
I bet that conversation was interesting.
Oh, he was just like he stumbled, and I mean he was devout. He stumbled. Sorry, Mark. You really told everybody that conversation, but he was like, I don't know. If it lands, then we'll have to go from there. But I think for us to grow past this racism that we have, this homophobic issues, these little petty, your religion and you're this and you're, these wars that it takes an alien. Because when an alien lands, when a different species, really think about it. When a different species from another universe lands, none of that matters anymore. Right.
Because what we about to do?
Take me trust me, we finna do it together. I'm like, because we got an alien over there.
I'm asking so many questions.
So hopefully, I say that to say, hopefully we don't have to wait for an alien to land to get rid of this idiotic.
That's so many of those in y'all community though. Like, especially like with the DL version of that. Because I know I've seen some of those get real ugly, real quick. Yeah. A guy gets discovered that, he was on the down low and he go after the person who exposed him. He go after the person he was with because they exposed him. Yeah. It gets bad. Like,
it does.
How do you waver through stuff like that?
That's a good question, and I would never know how to answer that only because I'm not a gay male. I know that it's dangerous, though. I know that it's a dangerous game. And then to me, I say, why does it have to get like that? It goes back to society not making a man feel that he could be himself. Because why the fuck does it matter who he chooses to love? Yeah. I don't understand that. Never understood it, never will understand it. And it always just goes back to society. Just like, why can't a man show his emotional side, his soft side, his feminine side? Because we're all born with masculine and feminine energy. Whether you decide to walk in that or not, it's okay for a man to be soft. It's okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to be emotional. But society makes it seem like he can't. Yeah. It goes back to that. I'll never understand it. I think outside the box. Yeah. Like I said, if an alien was to come down, I'm going with them because I don't understand nothing on Earth. Yes. It's ghetto here. I
don't. Our whole ideology will change.
You hear me? As it should.
That day. Okay? That day.
Can you speak from the female side of that perspective? Like, because you say you couldn't answer because of the man.
Yeah. As far as, it's
been in the closet.
Yeah. And I've been with a woman like way back in the day. We were young. She wasn't out. It was hard. because when we went on dates, we had to act like just friends. Ma'am. So it's frustrating, you know? Her thing was because of religion. Her parents were very religious. Right. And so how dare her be a lesbian?
But doesn't society accept lesbians
more? Absolutely. Because they sexualize, they fetish lesbians. Yes. That's what it is, and it's so frustrating.
That's because women is so powerful sexually. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just the pure sound of a woman can take anybody to that level.
Yeah.
In that moment of sexualizing themselves.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, that's yep, absolutely.
Like being in high school, I know my cousin was going through it. She used to ask, "How did you get freedom?" And she can't get freedom because she had to be in the house by a certain time. She can't go out with like certain female friends.
Is your cousin out?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because she just outed it.
That's why they wouldn't let her out. She went out. It is they was hoping by the time she graduated, she would have switched. Switched back to.
So because she was out, she couldn't go out with people. Is that what you're saying?
Gotcha.
Because goes back to her
in the home, how you're raised. Exactly. It goes back to that too. Thankfully, and there's a lot of horrible coming out stories too. Thankfully, I had a very supportive family.
Yeah. I think
I have older family members, so they be like, "Oh, it's just a phase."
Yeah.
I think it'll change. I think, like I said, AI is going to change everything. Artificial intelligence is going to change everything. And we're not going to be worried about these small things that we're worried about right now. We're really not. And, this right here is just a social growth. And we will grow. We will grow past this. We will grow past all of these little small things that separate us as people.
Yeah.
That I could have the best friend ever. And just because he's gay, you're afraid to have that best friend.
Yeah.
Or
weird. And I don't even want to say it's weird, but it's
don't cheat yourself in this.
Slap in the face.
Don't cheat yourself. You only get one life. We were somewhere, I always say this, we were somewhere before we were born begging to be here. We were begging, give me a chance to go down there and live this life. I'm going to do great. And we get down here and we're not doing great. So let's do great. Let's do great. Let's do what we beg to be here to do. So I appreciate you, Miss Carr.
I appreciate you. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
And we want you to come back after, your feature comes out.
Absolutely.
Your films or some of your shorts, let's talk about them and let's get them out there to the world.
Absolutely.
So,
I already got a notification on it. Ready.
Okay, I got y'all.
Well, thank you. Miss Carr.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Closing this out.
I guess I can close this out. So, as you see, we talked about a lot of things tonight, and, we brought up a lot of good topics. And one of the things that I want to say and that I want to really end with is that we have to learn how to get along with everybody. Let's get past these. We can wake up tomorrow and get past these social ills that hold us down as a community, that hold us down as a people, that hold us down as just, where we are today. So that's my challenge to you. I always challenge black men to speak to each other because for some reason we lost that ability to speak to each other. We look at each other, we try not to make eye contact, and I'm not that guy. If I run into you in the 7-Eleven, you're going to get a how you doing, brother? You're going to get a how you doing today. If I run into you in the mall, you're going to get a how you doing, beautiful family. If we start doing that, we break down those walls slowly. We break down those barriers that we've artificially put up or that's been artificially put up for us. So let's get past that and let's make 100 CEOs together and continue to follow us on this journey. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you, Miss Carr.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. What an incredible episode.
Oh, it was. That was
incredible.
Awesome.
My God.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Time flowing. It's up to you to let your mind go. You feel the pain rushing, don't quit. Just trust God will see you through every single storm. Time flowing. It's up to you to let your mind go. You feel the pain rushing, don't quit. Trust God will see you through every single storm. Time flows.